Good morning, everyone. Sorry this week's challenge is late again, but a weed whacker was calling my name yesterday. Anyway, we're going to jump in today and we're going to make some journal cards using stencils and ink, modeling paste, spackle if you have it, paint, whatever you have on hand that you can use with a stencil. We're going to alter some book pages to make some journaling cards. And I can't get Facebook to load on my Chromebook, so we're just going to go without me seeing who's on. Anyway, so I've got a book here that is African Violets. I use this when I'm using my glue stick, and then I glue two pages together to make them a little thicker because the pages in this book are pretty thin. If you have really thick book pages, you don't need to glue them together, but I'm just going to tear out a couple of the glued together pages. And these pages measure 8 by 5, so I'm going to make 4 by 5 journaling cards out of them. So I will cut my pages down to 4 inches this way, and 5 inches the opposite direction. You can make them whatever size pages you have. You can make them into journal spots, whatever you like, but I'm going to do journal spots for this challenge. If I can figure out what I'm doing. You can cut them down, you can leave them however you want. But I'm just going to cut them. You can tear them at 4 inches, if I can find my ruler, which this morning I cannot. So I'm going to use my cutter. No torn edges, however you'd like to have them. So we're doing 4 by 5. Hope everybody's had a great weekend. We had quite a substantial rainfall Friday during the day, Saturday during the day, and Saturday night, that we were not able to cut grass yesterday because our backyard is a literal swamp at the moment. But we were definitely able to get out the weed whackers and start cleaning up and trimming around our bushes and stuff like that. I can actually see the trunks on my lilac trees again. So I have my stack of cards, not all the same size because obviously I can't cut the right number this morning, but anyway. So some of my journaling cards have writing on both the front and the back. Sometimes you'll have a page that will leave you your own writing space and not have to add anything. Like this one. I would use this as the writing spot, and then I'm going to work on this side of this card. And if I have a card that is full on writing on both sides, it makes it hard to write on it, so I will use the white lining page, the white layer of a napkin when I'm decoupaging. I will take just the white layer, hang on to those, and glue that on the back for a blank writing space. You could use gesso, you could use coffee dyed paper, tea dyed paper, whatever you'd like to put on the back to make a journaling spot, so you can write on it. But today we're just going to work on the front of these ones for now. And we'll just get started. There's many different ways that you can do things. You can leave your cards this way. You can have them with the writing. Doesn't really matter because we're going to alter them and change them. So I'm going to just stick a stencil on here. And I'm going to grab some blending sponges. And I'm just going to go at it and make some designs on my book pages. You could do this with stickers too if you wanted to, but this challenge we're going to use some kind of ink or something to alter the way our book pages look. So there's a little stencil on that part of it. I'm going to use another part of the stencil in a different color. If I can find another brush that doesn't have black ink on it. So some of these journaling cards are going to go into the journal that I'm working on right now that is predominantly nature and birds and greens and pinks and purples, so we're going to go with that. And then I'll just add a little bit of green around just to define the color a little bit. So there's a quick and easy way to alter a book page so you can use it for whatever you'd like to use it for using stencils and inks. Guess I need a wipe to wipe everything off. Those aside. And then you can go further and decorate this with whatever you'd like. You could use stickers, you could use washi tape, you could use any kind of die cuts, whatever you'd like to do. These are just, I'm just going to do the bases in the video today. And then I will post a couple of completed cards after, but here's just one that you can still tell it's a book page, but it has a little more depth and interest on it. And ink off my stencil. And then I'm going to use some modeling paste and show you how you can either change it from just the plain white that it comes in, or you can change the color of the paste itself by adding a little bit of paint to it, or you can do the white and put the paint on it over top of it. If I can get it to open. Not always the greatest at cleaning off the tops of my containers and wind up having containers that get glued shut, but I can't be the only one that does that. So I'm just going to grab a card. This one I'm going to do this way. And I'm going to put a border on one side. So this is just the modeling paste, and you just kind of smush it into your stencil. This gives you a great amount of texture. And I'm sure there's people that are far more skilled at doing this stuff than I am, but here we are. This is the challenge for this week, is to break out of our boxes and do things that we don't normally do anyway. I won't be able to paint this one because the stencil will still be wet. The modeling paste will still be wet, but there you have the side, and then I can ink over the top of it with whatever ink I choose. I could rub paint over it, I could do decor wax on it, all kinds of things like that to alter the color of it. And like I said, these challenges are just designed to help get us out of our boxes and get our creativity flowing, doing something that we may not have thought we could have or didn't have a sweet clue what to do with it. So just some basic kind of ways to work with things. I am not, nor will I profess to ever be, a expert mixed media artist, because that I am not. I'm learning as I go. And I think I'll put this flower up in this corner. And like, you can use the texture paste if you have it. You could use even spackle from the dollar store would work. Drywall compound, any of those things that dry hard would work as a medium to use to add texture. So there is the border on one side, the flower on this side, and then I will add other things in here after the texture paste is dry. So there's that one. You can mix your paint right into your texture paste, or you can just use paint on your stencils too. And I think for this one, I might actually just use paint. And I'll use silver for this one, so I'm going to clean this up. Try to clean it up. So that's this week's challenge, is to take some book pages, make whatever size journaling cards you would like to make with those book pages, and add some dimension to them, whether it's flat dimension using ink or paint, or a textured dimension using some kind of spackling paste or drywall compound, modeling paste, whatever you happen to have. I've not used paint on a stencil before, so we're going to see how it goes. Guess I probably should find a paintbrush. I've got one right there. I have a little... I don't think this paint is any good. It just came out liquid, and it is definitely not a silver paint. So give me one sec. I'm going to go grab a bottle of other paint. Guess I probably have to knead those ones to make them, to remix them. I do know one of you stencils before that if your paint is really, really runny, you run the risk of it going under your stencil itself, so make sure your paint is a little thicker. You can even texture your paint by adding some cornstarch or baby powder right into the paint. It'll make it a little bit thicker as well as giving it some texture. I have a sticky tile on the other side of my mat. Not a sticky tile, but like the tiles you would use to, the stick-on tiles that you would use in your kitchen or something to add a backsplash. I stuck one of them, they're shiny, they're a smooth shiny surface, and I stuck one of them on my mat because it wipes right off. Doesn't stain my mat, doesn't destroy my mat, and I can use any kind of medium on it and it just wipes off. So this one is with paint. So we all have, lots of us have paint and inks, and so these ones will have to dry. But yeah, there's some ways that you can use a stencil on a book page. Just something fun to do. A little messy, but if we're not messy, we're not creative. So that is this week's challenge, is to make some journaling spots, journaling cards, whatever size you want from the book pages you have, using stencils and whatever kind of medium you have on hand for the stencil. You could even use eyeshadow, like chalk. You could use actual chalk. You could use eyeshadow. You could use any kind of the blush makeups and things like that to use your stencils with. That I'm thinking you would probably have to add a fixative to it after. Not sure. That I've never worked with. I know chalks, years ago I had tons of chalks that I used to use, and I would just let them be. It's a little bit of it rubbed off, then oh well. But I think once the color sets, color sets. So there is the challenge for this week. And there you have it. Just stencils and book page. It's a way to take your book pages to the next level so they're not quite so book pagey-ish. If that, see, I make up words as I go too. I mean, that would be me. Not to be completely normal, because that's not fun. But yeah, so there is this week's challenge. Again, book pages and stencils and some kind of medium on them. Make sure you have all 4 weeks posted by this coming Monday on July 1st, which is our Canada Day. So I will be in and out, but on Tuesday, July 2nd, I will be posting the winner I will do a live video with a draw for whoever wins the prize for the June challenges for this month. So make sure everything is posted by next Monday, and use the hashtag JCC challenges in your post so that I can easily find them and enter you into the draw. And I will see you again all on Tuesday. Have a great week. Bye.